All right, so part 3 of our series on looking at the Vanguard Inflation Protected Securities Fund, VIPSX, versus the S&P 500 fund, VFINX. This time, unlike the previous two, so the first one we just looked at each fund without taking distributions out, and then the second one we looked at each fund taking 5% annual distributions, and we got a chance to show you which one looked better in both those scenarios, and you go back to those videos to see the results there. This one, what we're doing is we're just doing $50,000 to each. $50,000 S&P 500, $50,000 in the Vanguard Inflation Protected Fund, the VIPSX, and we're taking 5% a year out. So we're basically doing a 50-50 mix on the front end. We're not rebalancing or anything. We're just saying, you got one portfolio S&P 500, you got the other one inflation protected, give us 5% from each year, and we'll revisit these each and every year and see what we got. This is what we're going to show you here today. And this actually, I'm pretty excited by this one. I'm actually a big fan. This really has me thinking, rethinking my thought process when it comes to bonds and bond funds in particularly, simply due to the fact that, again, when people are retiring, most people are not trying to capture every single penny of the up. They want to protect the down more while capturing some of the up. This is what makes the prevalence of things like fixed index annuities, index universal life insurance just so large out there, because people hear the idea of some upside capture with downside risk protection, and they buy into it, hook, line, and sinker. I'm not saying don't do that. Something tells you this is going to be a better strategy. So we shall see. Now, we're going from 2001 because that's when VIPSX was incepted. That was the beginning of the fund. There's nothing more dramatic than that. It's not trying to cherry pick. We're just saying from point A to point B, what are we looking at for, and now we have a 17-year track record. We got enough history over some serious ups and downs of the last, basically the first 20 years of this new century. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful place to start. So this is good stuff. You're going to get a lot out of this for sure. So don't forget to subscribe. Did you do it? Did you subscribe? And then, of course, don't forget to comment and thumbs up as well. All right, so let's dive into this. A little bit of a confusing chart, so let me explain it to you. 100,000 what we're starting with, VFINX, VIPSX, all right? So what happens is we're taking $100,000 out, we're putting $50,000 each. The $50,000 for the VFINX in 2001 was down almost 12, we'll just say 12%. The $50,000 in VIPSX in 2001 was up about a little bit over 7%. All right, so we're taking the $50,000, reducing it by 12% for the VFINX, taking the $50,000, increasing it by the 7% in VIPSX, taking 5% each from those two portfolios, and that gives us in the $48.91 we can pull out from the portfolio, which leaves us with $92,924, $92,924. All right, hope that makes sense. Doing the same thing the following year. I can't remember what this was. The VIPSX was up in 2002, but the S&P 500 was down 22% in 2002. So again, what was left over from the previous year in the S&P 500 minus this 5% withdrawal is down 22% in 2002, and then we're taking 5% a year off that, and the same thing for the VIPSX, which means we're able to pull 4607 out as cash, and it left us with a portfolio balance of 87,527. So, if I may, think about that. I mean, relative to the S&P 500 and those 2 years, the S&P 500 was down to, let's see here, was down to $61,000, my friends, at the end of 2002, and I was only able to pull 3,250. I mean, so we are up 26,000 more than the S&P 500, and we're able to pull out, $1,400 more as well. Now, the VIPSX was down to, let's see here, I can't, one was up to, let's see that, because that year's up 16% in 2002. So that year it was up to 113. Yeah, 113 in 2002. And we're able to pull off that $5,900. So, I mean, you can see how those two things really operated in no correlation at all in those 2 years, which is fundamental because now, even though the S&P 500 got hammered, down 12 and 22% consecutively, the VIPSX just saved our bacon. There's just no other way around that. Fast forward up until the end of 2005, we're able to pull 5149 off. But I can't remember what the S&P 500 didn't do much in 2005. I don't think let me see here. Did the VIPSX, was that down in 2005? VIPSX. It was up 2.59%. So the VIPSX was up 2.5, which was less than actually our withdrawal amount, which is why we have red there. And the S&P 500 is only at 4.79. So that's why we have red here, because the portfolio was less than the previous year. So we started the previous year at we ended the previous year at 9954, 534. Here we ended at 97,837, even though both of those portfolios were middling that year, but it wasn't anything devastating, that's for sure. All right, so now we come to end of 2007. We're able to pull 5,396 off. Oh, I also want to point out too, in 2003, we're able to pull $5,000 out. And at the S&P 500 alone, we weren't able to get back to the $5,000 threshold until I think it was 2016. Hold on, yeah, it was 2014. Yep, we never got 5%, $5,000 from the S&P 500 until 2014 because of the first 2 years bear market. Never, I mean, even spit distance. And here, even with these two bear markets, we're able to get above 5,000 again only 2 years after, which is just, it's amazing to me. All right, so at the end of 2007, we're able to pull 5,396, which is the most we've had up to this point. We had a portfolio in the six figures again, so we're just sitting there pretty. Now, we did get hammered. I mean, because 2008 was bad for the S&P 500, 37%. The VIPSX was down, I think, 2.85. So we did get a pretty significant decline in income. We were only able to pull 4231 out, and we had 80,000 left to show for it at the end of 2008. But I mean, still, man, you think about it, we were able to pull 20, that's what, 11, 20, yeah, that's what, 10, 20, 30, $35, $40,000 over the course of the previous 7, 8 years, and still had 80,000 left with two of the worst bear markets ever. I mean, it's just because that guy saved our bacon. I love it. The following year, we were able to get back on the horse here. We were able to add another $400 to our portfolio. We pulled 4666, went back up to 88,000. So let's just keep going down. We got back up to over 5,000 in 2011. We're sitting on 95,340, pulled 5,000 a year out. Comes 2015, the VIPSX really took on the chin. It was down like 8% that year. But we're still able to pull 5160 off. And our portfolio is still within spitting distance of what we started with. So, I mean, after a pretty significant down market there, plus two of the worst down markets ever in history, after 14 years or so, we're basically right back where we were, but we're able to pull 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 70, 75,000, maybe something like that, maybe even a little bit more, 75,000 cash out. That's not too bad. We survived two of the worst bear markets ever, a significant decline for the index, the inflation-adjusted bonds, and yet we're still right back to where we were. Plus, we were able to pull 75,000 a year out, 5%, a whole lot better than the 4% rule. And then at the end of 2017, we're back to pulling more than we ever pulled out, 5664. Got 107,000 left in our portfolio. I mean, so we have growing. I hate to say inflation-adjusted growing because it is not, but we have growing income distributions because of the S&P 500. That's a fact. We have downside risk protection because of the VIPSX. That's a fact. I mean, after 2017, we are up to $107,000 from the initial income of $100,000, and we've been able to pull 86,000 a year out, 86,405 out total after. I think it's 10 years. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years. So 17 years, 86,405 divided by 17. So we've averaged $5,882 a year. I mean, that ain't too bad. That's not too bad. In the worst case scenario is we went down this 22% roughly, but even that we're still pulling 5% a year out. And that, I mean, I look at that and I say to myself, I don't think you're beating that any other place. I just don't, because we still have 86,000. Remember, by the way, too, a couple things on this. There's no surrender charges. I mean, there's no other fees. Taxation is going to be, you're going to pay ordinary income if it's coming from an IRA. Yeah, I don't know what kind of income tax you pay. It's going to be minimal taxes. It's going to be minimal. Some. We'll just say, even if it's ordinary income, it's not, just not getting killed taxes is 100% liquid. You're not getting killed fees, and yet at the end of some of the most trying times, man, I'm a fan of this approach. I really am. All right. So anyway, I hope you find this helpful. This right here, I think, is a wonderful answer to the idea of downside risk protection as well as upside potential to deal with inflation with stocks without just locking in a low performer in a bond. Because I don't like bonds. I just don't. Now what I'm going to do next one is I'm going to pair VIPSX to the Ginnie Mae, and then I'm going to add VTSMX as well, because VTSMX is 30% small mid-cap stocks. And I do want to see what those two look like in conjunction with these here. Would that actually, the addition of small caps, help us out a lot? I don't know. With the Ginnie Mae relative to VIPSX, would it have changed much? I just don't know. So we'll see. So stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe down below. As always, you like what you see. Of course, comments, thumbs up, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks now.